So this is going to be the third and also the last of our video presentations about the revolutions of 1830 and 1848. So when we last left off, rebellions happened in France yet again, and in the aftermath of that, or as it's even going on, people in countries across Europe start to see this example and say, we should rebel too. But for most countries, the grievances, meaning the things people were angry about, had been building up for years. And this was sort of like the boiling point for them. Opponents of the old order, meaning people who were liberal and wanted change, they called this the springtime of the peoples. So one of the countries where rebellions and revolts do happen is in the Austrian Empire. Revolts break out in major cities due to anger over the conservative leadership of Foreign Minister Clemens von Metternich and his subsequent censorship of the press. So we've talked about Metternich quite a bit. This is a picture of him again. He was the guy from the Congress of Vienna, the conservative leader there. And we saw the political cartoon of him where he's sort of standing in the way of the people trying to go towards freedom and liberty. So here again, people want some more rights to be expanded. They want some more liberal reforms. He's standing in the way. And when people are criticizing him, he censors the press. He makes it so people can't speak out against him. So people are understandably angry about this. Students are demonstrating in Vienna, and they're quickly joined by workers also. So in response to the protests, Metternich resigns his position and he flees the country. So in the aftermath of this, we start to see people throughout the empire, the Austrian Empire, rebel as well. Austrian Empire contained people of a lot of different nationalities. So we saw Hungarian nationalists in Budapest demanding an independent government. We saw Czech nationalists in Prague making similar demands for an independent government. So the Austrian Empire feels overwhelmed by all this, and they grant the reforms that the people are asking for. But soon after, Austrian troops are able to retake control of Vienna, Prague, and Budapest. The rebels are defeated, and the changes are all taken back. And this is a picture of the Hungarian rebels who have been defeated. Also, the Russians were involved in in stopping the rebellions. We talked about with the Congress of Vienna the fact that the conservative leaders of all these countries didn't want changes to happen in other countries as well, so they agreed to help each other out if rebellions were ever happening. So Austria asked Russia for help, and Russia intervened on Austrian king's behalf to prevent these rebellions from continuing. So also at the same time, we saw revolts happen in Italy. This is a map of Italy at the time. As you can see, it was not a united country. It was very much divided into different kingdoms. And especially in the north, it had been dominated for a long time by the Habsburgs, which are the ruling dynasty in control of Austria. So the Italians revolt, and they set up several independent republics, and they also force the Pope to leave Rome. But like in Austria, most of the gains that they make are very short-lived. Austrian troops are able to remove the new governments in northern Italy, and French troops come in and help restore the Pope to Rome. So again, we're seeing foreign countries intervening in rebellions to try and put them down so they don't spread throughout all of Europe. So also at this time, in 1848, we see rebellion in the German states. Like Italy, Germany is not a united country this time. It's made up of several dozen independent kingdoms. So in Germany, students are demanding national unity, and they also want some liberal reforms. And then after a potato famine happens, we see peasants and workers join in. And this is a picture of some of the fighting that took place in Berlin, a painting sort of between the students and the peasants and the soldiers. Liberals eventually force King Frederick William IV of Prussia, which is one of the kingdoms that's in Germany, to agree to read a constitution written by an elected assembly, but within a year he dissolves that assembly. So rebellion ends up failing. Delegates meet throughout 1848 at the Frankfurt Assembly. This picture is called Germania, and it's sort of meant to represent the idea of having a united Germany rather than having it split into all the different kingdoms. But very quickly, divisions start to emerge between these different groups because they come from different places, they have different interests and different goals. But finally, they decide that Frederick William IV should be offered the crown of a unified German country. But the conservative king rejects that crown because it comes from the people, which he considers to be coming from the gutter, rather than being offered to him by the princes of Germany. So, like in Italy and like in Austria, the German Revolution also fails.